Hey guys, it's Casiecasem here with Change the Face of Depression, and today I have Kelsey on this segment of Take Off the Mask. Today we're going to talk about depression and self-image and a little bit of how our stories correlate, how I met Kelsey, where she is today, where she's come from, and the trials and tribulations that she's overcome herself, and then she's going to kind of go ahead and go into helping us to get where her strengths are and get some of her strengths and how to be able to maintain a healthy self-image and healthy self-care. So, hey Kelsey, thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us about yourself. How did we meet?
Well, we met when I stopped by my old stomping ground, if you will. I went to the Aveda Institute, and I was talking to my director, telling her how I'm back in school, trying to pursue my passion and further it. And she was telling me about the cause, Change the Face of Depression, and what they were partnering together to do. And I was like, that's something I can get behind.
Oh, yeah.
And she told me, well, let me get you in touch with her. And then we just kind of talked and realized how much our stories are kind of similar and just correlate and just kind of just happen and click.
Completely parallel to each other, just going the same place at the same time. So Kelsey was actually brought to me as a direct reference from the director of the Jacksonville Aveda that we're partnering with. When I spoke with Kelsey, she went into her story and how she had suffered from depression, and she went the cognitive therapy route. She's going a more holistic approach. I've shared my story on multiple different platforms. I mean, I'm sure if you look for it, you can definitely find it. But my personal struggle with depression, I did the medicine route for several years. That was something that definitely helped to balance me out on a temporary level. And then I was able to migrate away from that and do a different approach to maintaining my ability to retain the self-care and just kind of stay on that elevated level of not going back into a depressive state. So when I talked to Kelsey, she's going to get all of her therapy schoolings to be more of a cognitive therapist. So personally, how that related to me was when Change the Face of Depression originated, I was doing that cognitive therapy route where I was and cognitive therapy is like life coaching, is the ability to go and have a 1-hour conversation with someone that's completely non-biased to your life or anything that you're doing in your life. They are just there to help you get to a balanced level and help you be able to retain success, basically, in a verbal conversation level. That's cognitive therapy. So taking that is a very holistic route, not being prescribed any medication, and just being able to sit there and have a conversation and have a life build up of a good route, and someone from the outside be able to help you get to the level that you're trying to go in a holistic way is what Kelsey is doing. So she wants to take her schoolings that she's learned from Aveda and combine that with cognitive therapy, which is exactly the movement that we're also trying to establish with Change the Face of Depression. Cognitive therapy is essentially what I give all credit to saving my life. That accountability of having someone, I had to call every time I took a shower for them to keep me accountable so I can see my personal level of results on the outside and be able to tell, hey, this week you took 4 showers. That's awesome. And then be able to see myself build and build and build into a healthy outside presentation of myself with my self-image and maintain, self-care of my appearance, basically. So it's exactly what Kelsey is doing. That's where she wants to pursue her career in. And so she's partnered with Change the Face of Depression to be at the event, to assist in any way that she can, but definitely be able to share her story with us. And that's what we're going to do today too, so that you guys can hear it and know that, there's so many of us out there. There's so many different resources. There's so many different ways. You don't have to have, medical prescriptions to be able to balance your depression or anxiety. It's all about you and you gaining and taking control of your mental health yourself. That isn't to scratch the fact that maybe you would need to do it to balance. So I'm going to, back that up a little bit. But on a long-term basis, the goal is to do cognitive therapy in a more holistic route. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So Kelsey, what started you on this route to do cognitive therapy?
Well, what started me was I was working at a salon in the Orange Park Mall here. Mm-hmm. And this young girl, she kind of came in. She was kind of just, you could tell she was going through something.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of myself in her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, okay, well, what can I do to get her talking? Because she wasn't talking. So throughout her service of me doing her hair, I started telling her about me and what I went through. Because I could just tell, like, she just wasn't present.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to her, even, like, got a little bit of makeup out, just put a little bit of something. Because she was a young girl. She was probably about 16.
Right.
And it just made me realize how much I could help more. Mm-hmm. And she honestly said to me at the end of it, she's like, I think I need help.
Wow.
She was like, because she's like, hearing what you've gone through and seeing how you are now, how someone as beautiful as you was bullied, she was like, it makes me feel like there's another world. Mm-hmm. There's more. And so, honestly, I felt like I partly saved her.
Yeah.
Like, so I started thinking about, okay, but I haven't seen her in so long. I'm only a hairstylist. I want to be able to see her through her journey. Mm-hmm. That's what led me to start thinking about, hey, maybe I should become a therapist. Maybe I should do more than just be a hairstylist.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what led me into this road of going back to school and getting my therapy license through a way that I will be able to do counseling.
Yeah.
Because medication will work. I know plenty of people who are on the medication. I'm not saying that's not okay.
Right.
It's just, for me, that didn't work. And for other people, that may not work or may not be enough.
Right.
Because
there's an underlying issue that like, it's, to me, medication can regulate things like
chemically balanced.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what is that, like, your sugar?
Glucose?
Yeah.
Insulin.
Insulin. Like, medication can regulate insulin levels and medical necessities and things like that, but your brain, when it tries to balance depressive versus stable in a plateau effect, it doesn't necessarily...
And sometimes it's not the only thing. Because when I started going to therapy, I needed therapy way before I started going.
Oh, yeah.
I should have been in therapy when I was a teenager, when all this was going on and I was just hiding everything.
Yeah.
What I was feeling, I would either eat my feelings or I would try to write. Mm-hmm. So I wrote this poem when I was in 8th grade, and it still stays, the last line still stays with me. I wrote, I am a girl that does not belong in this world. Because that's literally how I felt. But I didn't seek help. I let it just kind of stuffed it down, became this kind of meek introvert person. Mm-hmm. And it just, the medication wasn't enough. When I started going to therapy, she talked to me about maybe 20 minutes, and she'd prescribe me a medication, or she would up it. That wasn't what I needed. Mm-hmm. It worked. The medication worked. I'm not saying it didn't. It just, I need to understand why I'm thinking this way. I need to understand why I'm having these thoughts. Because, honestly, suicide thoughts still plague me to this day. Sure. Yeah. Like, I would end up in a situation where I'd be like, well, what if I just wasn't here anymore? What if I did succeed in my one try when I was 14 years old? What if I really did go through with it? Mm-hmm. What would life be like? Mm-hmm. What would this person be like? Would it even mattered? So I still have these thoughts.
Right.
But the self-harm, the attempting self-harm and all that.
Going through with it.
No. I've never gone through with it. But it's like just that thing where I need to talk to someone.
You gotta get it out.
I need to get it out. I need someone to listen to
outlet.
me.
Yeah.
And just tell me, not necessarily tell me, but help me find ways to deal with it. Help me find better ways. So now I write, I read. I write lyrics to songs that never get heard, but they're for me.
Yeah.
They help me. So I'm off of the medication because I don't need it at this point in my journey. So it's one of those things where just talking helps.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be able to do. But for some people, they may look at themselves and say, but there's no change to their outer appearance.
Right.
So making sure that their outer appearance and their inner thoughts correlate and change together will give them a whole new view on themselves and their journey. So being able to maybe do a different hairstyle or just a light touch of makeup, it will change you drastically enough. It'll be like a subtle little change to make you say, oh, I am achieving something.
Like a reset.
It's like it's a reset.
It's a visual stimulation, too.
It's like that. I'm seeing me. I'm me again. I'm my own person, and I'm starting to see who I am. So as you go through your journey, just changing little things or trying different little things with your hair or your makeup can be life-changing.
Yeah.
To say the least.
It's just a different outside perspective.
And just having that holistic approach to therapy, that cognitive holistic approach, it affects everything in your being. It affects your mind. It affects your outward appearance. It can affect everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it really, I feel like it's more of a long-lasting approach than just medication or just talking to someone but not changing anything.
Yeah.
Being able to change something, it still gives you that control power over how you're feeling and what you look like, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
In a very much more healthier way than self-harming or eating disorders.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you a positive thing you can control.
Yep.
So it changes a lot.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What was your teenage years like?
Teenage years, being a military brat, moving a lot, I was open to other point of views, other ways of thinking. But once I became a teenager, everything just started becoming about what other people thought about me. Started caring more, because when I was a young child, I didn't care.
Right.
If I wanted to wear ruby red slippers to school, I would.
Oh, yeah.
I'd sleep in them.
Oh, yeah.
I slept in them. I did.
Yeah.
Or if I wanted to wear my blue tutu out in public, I would if my parents would let me.
I know. Like, when do we get to that level where you don't dress up every day anymore? You know, you don't wear the princess dresses anymore. You don't wear the crazy frou-frous and the different matching shoes. And
it comes from, I feel like when you're going through puberty and those hormones are happening, and for a woman you're starting your menstrual cycle, and things are changing, you're starting to get more endowed in your breast area and starting to grow hair in your legs and
so
image
altered.
It starts, and then you start to see other people on TV or your other friends going through the same thing but differently. Someone may develop faster in the breast area than you, so you starts thinking, well, why aren't mine? So it's like your self-image is starting to change, and if it's being negatively affected, if you're looking at yourself negatively and comparing yourself to other things, you're going to start caring what other people think.
Oh, yeah.
And I did. I started caring what other people thought. Not what I thought, but what other people were seeing me. So it started to affect my self-image because people aren't nice. No, teenagers can be very, very mean. I still, to this day, am plagued with it because there are a handful of people that will message me on Facebook bringing up stuff from the past. Because I very much so wanted these guys to like me. That I didn't do anything, but I'd let them talk to me however they wanted to talk to me. thinking that they're my friends.
Your self-worth. Yeah. You don't understand the value of self at that point. Like when you...
I put my self-image in their hands.
Yep.
And they can distort it, make me feel bad about myself. And there were some girls, too.
Yeah.
There were a lot of times where I would go to the bathroom and just cry.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like I had anyone on my side.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that amount of negativity being told to me, being told I'm not worthless or I'm worthless, and not that I'm not worthless, is started to affect the way I saw myself.
Oh, yeah.
So I started thinking and having those thoughts of suicide and what if I wasn't here? What if I just put it into it? But another thing that kept me going is the people who are on my side. Mm-hmm. Like my grandma, my great-grandma, and my parents. Even though they didn't know any of this was going on.
Yeah.
Because I hid it. I hid it all.
Yeah.
It kind of just made me pause and think, well, you're going to be moving in a year. Right. Or you're going to be moving in this amount of months. You're going to be moving soon.
This won't last forever.
So having that constant ability to be able to move and get away from it kind of brought me back to not wanting to kill myself because I'm going to be moving. This is not going to be a constant. Yeah. Even though it did follow me, eventually it got less and less and less, and then it became more of being talked about behind my back.
Yeah.
So I wasn't necessarily hearing it by the time I'm a senior in high school, but it's still a reality. Mm-hmm. So for me, that constant fear of what's everyone saying about me, or what is this person thinking about me?
Or your likability,
or I like this guy. What is he hearing about me? Because I like him so much, I want to ask him out, or just say something, but I'm too afraid because what is he hearing? Yeah. So I stayed in a shell. Mm-hmm. I really did. I didn't start coming out of my shell till I'm 23 now. Yeah. I didn't start coming out of my shell till I was 21. Mm-hmm. When I started at the Aveda Institute and started seeing what I could do.
Yeah, the impact that you could...
The impact I could have on a person. Yeah. So for me, being able to help people helps me. Yeah. So it's not all selfless. Yeah. But being able to help someone feel good about themselves and the way they look started becoming not enough. Yeah. And when I helped that young girl, I started realizing there's more that I can do. Mm-hmm. Besides just seeing someone once. Right. And then maybe in a year they'll come back for a haircut. Right. So being able to see someone on a regular basis and see them through their journey and help them so that they know that there's another side to everything. Because the grass is always greener on the other side. Yeah. So there's another side to every coin. Mm-hmm. It makes you see that, oh, she got through it. Yeah. So maybe I can. Yeah. And that honestly is what helped me, because I started talking to friends, started talking to the people at my church who are the most loving people.
Using your voice.
And I'm starting to have an impact on other people even while I'm in school.
Oh, yeah.
For my pastor to come to me, starting when I started going to this church, started thinking, because I had a patient, I used to be a CNA before I did hair. I had a patient who said, no matter what I've gone through, he's always been by my side. Mm-hmm. I started questioning everything all over again because I blamed him. I didn't believe in him. I thought, why am I going to believe in a God if he isn't going to...
Right, he's letting me go through all this stuff. Like, he doesn't care about me.
With that patient, she said, no matter what I've been through, he's always been by my side. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, why would he put you through so much suffering? She said, if it wasn't for that suffering, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't have helped so many people. Yeah. So it started making me think, and I started going to this church, and I'm just going to do a little shout out. It's Vibrant Life Church here in St. Johns County. Mm-hmm. And they love me. Yeah. My pastor even came to me and said, in these last 13, 14 weeks of being at this church, he's seen so much growth in me. Oh, yeah. So much change in becoming a leader. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where it's like, he's seeing the change. Not only is it the therapy, but it's having faith in something. Yeah. It doesn't have to be God. It doesn't have to be a powerful being that's out there controlling the universe.
Right.
Just having faith in something helps.
Something, that there is life beyond this point.
Exactly. There's some kind of life.
Like, I believe a lot with the law of the universe, you know, the law of attraction. Like, the more you attract, the more you're going to you reap what
the
you
more
sow.
positivity you attract, the less negativity affects you.
Yep. You reap, you reap what you sow. And with that being said, like your patient said, you know, if she wouldn't have gone through all of this struggle, she wouldn't be the person that she is today. And you're not able to see that until you step away from the situation and you see Steve Jobs, he had a phenomenal speech at a commencement. I believe it was at Harvard. I made a post about it a while ago, and he said that you are not able to see all of the connections until you look behind you and you see where all the dots have led. So with that being said, I mean, that's the truth. Like,
it really is.
Everything comes full circle. No matter how difficult it seems in the time or how much it doesn't make sense at the moment, if it weren't for that particular thing happening exactly the way that it happened when it happened at that timeline in your life, it wouldn't have kind of sculpted and brought you to where you are today.
Yep.
Like,
it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be God or the universe. Just having faith in something.
Right.
It
having
gives you
faith
a purpose.
that there is a purpose.
Yes.
That there's a reasoning behind something. Like, just
having that faith of
having
a reason to be alive.
Yeah.
Having a reason to do what you're doing. That a little bit of faith in having a purpose changes your whole outlook.
Absolutely.
And brings you full circle.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying.
And I think depression is almost, you know, and I've compared it on several other platforms. Depression is like this cloud, like this black ink that just, like, you know, it kind of, and then it just expands and it takes over everything. And to be able to have, like, an understanding that there's a reason behind all of this trickle effect, that gives you such a bigger advantage of a mental strength to be able to say, like, this is happening for a reason. I don't understand why it's happening right now, but I'm going to get through this.
I'm going to have faith in that. I'm going to have faith that this is happening for a reason.
Right.
Yes.
So,
and that, for some people, that can be huge. And for me, it was.
For some people, having that faith is not only huge, but it's life altering. Like, that is, it's life or death for them at that point. That's the only stronghold that they have left to, is that.
And having people that love you and are not going to judge you is another big thing.
Yep. And we've discussed
having people
that
in your corner
on different platforms as well, is, you know, sometimes you have to break the cycle of toxicity in your life. May it be family members or may it be friends. You'll understand where your tribe is. Like, you have to be able to decipher who's positively behind you in your tribe and who's that one that you've got to just completely cut off. And sometimes that is also life altering. Like, you know, that can be extremely scary and extremely earth shattering to have to cut some type of relationships out of your life, but sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah, so. I had to do that. I had to cut those people I thought were my friends out of my life. And even though they still try to bring things up, I just started ignoring them. I stopped responding, and I haven't gotten any of the messages anymore, because I think they're realizing, oh, she doesn't care anymore. It doesn't
affect you
It doesn't affect me. Even though it does.
Right. But if you
they don't need to know that.
Right. You don't give in to that. The wolf that needs to be fed the most is the one that's going to get the strength.
Yeah. Because there's that little... I will always have that little voice in my head telling me that I'm not good enough, that they're right.
Yeah.
But I also have my voice is louder now. My voice speaks through the crowd, speaks through that fog.
Yeah.
And like, no, you need to stop.
Yeah.
I am lovable. I love myself. And I look damn good these days. Just being able to look at myself in the mirror and not hate every little thing about me is good. I mean, do I want to lose some weight? Yeah. But that's not the point.
Right.
The point is I want to look good about myself and feel good at every stage of my life.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at a bigger part of it where I'm like, okay, yeah, I love me. I love the way I look. I rock a pencil skirt these days. Even though I'll look in the mirror and not feel like I do.
Yeah.
The validation that I hear outside of my own voice helps me.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not looking for the compliments, just having those compliments be given to me helps my self-image. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I do look really good today. Maybe doing my makeup this way fits my face. Maybe changing my hair color, which I do a lot.
Yeah. Switch it up. Yeah.
Just sometimes just switching it up. It's another projection of you. Yeah. It's another reset. It's a projection of how you feel about yourself. Mm-hmm. How you want others to see you.
Yeah.
So for me, being able to change my appearance and match my mood and match what I want to feel. So like if I'm having like an off day and I'm feeling kind of low in the dumps, which of course I'm going to have, I can try to reset by listening to positive music, doing my makeup maybe a little bit more of a glamorous way to make me feel better. It's
change the outside,
it's control
to help the inside.
Yep. And it's another thing you can control. And I always like to listen to positive music.
Yeah.
Something that's going to get me going and get me kind of reset and like, okay, stop feeling bad.
Right.
I know you're feeling bad about this one little thing. Don't blow it out of proportion. Don't overthink it. Stop thinking about it and go on with your day.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a big thing.
Oh, yeah. You have the control to change the outside. Like, no matter what you don't like about yourself, you do have the control to be able to change it. If you
Which
don't
is
like
why I'm going into the into the holistic therapy. That's the whole reason, because it's something you can control, and it's a positive thing that you can control.
Oh, yeah.
So it can be big for anyone.
Yeah, and make a huge impact. That's incredible. That's where I was 3 years ago. And, you know, wearing makeup and the outside appearance, yes, that's all superficial. Absolutely. But in reality, the truth is that when you feel better about yourself on the outside, you feel better about yourself on the inside. Your whole life experience is altered when you are, you know, I heard something once, and it was one negative comment will destroy 7 positives. That's how powerful one negative comment is. Like, one negative comment will demolish 7 positives. So if you have 7 people come up to you today and they say, Kelsey, you have a great smile. Your hair is on point today. Your eyebrows look fleek. Like, I love those shoes. Your outfit is matched. Combination is great. The colors are popping. And I say, Kelsey, I don't like those earrings. That's literally all you're going to remember is the fact that you heard me tell you that I don't like your earrings. The
way people remember mistakes, because I think it was a professor. He wrote a lot of problems on the board, and one was wrong, and everybody paid attention just to that one. Your brain's going to do the same thing with negative comments. They're going to focus on that one negative and not the positive. So if I've had someone come up to me and say, at the time I was wearing a ponytail extension because I'm tired of the short hair and I'm trying to grow it. But I had someone say to me, you can't be wearing that. I'm like, what? Why? And she was like, well, you just can't be wearing that. That's not for you. I'm like, and I walked away. And that's what I thought about for the rest of the day. But then I started thinking, you know what? I can do whatever I want with my hair. I can wear it however I want. I can add a ponytail extension if I want to.
Yeah, you can.
It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me look damn fine.
Right.
When I got that long hair swinging.
Yeah.
It's about me.
Yeah. Not
about what that person thought.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said, I got so many compliments. And then that one I started obsessing over.
Yeah. Because
you're going to do that. Your brain's going to take the negativity and focus on it. It's not going to focus on the positive.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like,
because
just get it out.
I don't know what it, I wish I knew what it was, but you then convince yourself that you don't deserve the 7 compliments.
Yeah.
Like, you deserve the one
negative.
And
the brain is still a very mysterious place, especially when it comes to emotions.
Yeah.
And the way we think. Even though there are ways we can decipher the emotions of it, the emotions of how you feel is still so much to be explored.
Oh, yeah.
So we're never going to fully understand why we feel the way we do. We'll just know, oh, this part of your brain lights up on a scan, so you're feeling happy. But that doesn't tell you why.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you got to try to stay focused on the positive.
Yeah.
Repeat those 7 compliments in your head to berate that negative comment and get it out.
Yeah.
But everybody struggles with that. Everybody's going to struggle with that.
Yeah.
That whether they have depression or anxiety.
That's just how the human works. Like, whether or not somebody tells you that, you know, they may every now and then have a self-image day that they battle, you know, or they have a 5-minute moment where they're just like having to overcome. Everybody does. Everybody has those emotions. We're all human. Everyone has the same emotional ability.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you learn to filter those? How do you know? And that just goes back to what you were saying about you reap what you sow. You have to plant. Yeah. It's a complete 180. You just plant positive things in your mind to replace all those negative fillers. And then you crop it. And that's what you reap what you sow.
That's why I recommend, or when I'm talking to friends or clients or anyone, and they're telling me, I just feel so down today. Like, I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm like, okay, well, put on some music. Put on something happy. Yeah. Something that's going to change the way you're thinking, because change the mood. So it could be any type of song. It doesn't have to be country or pop or something like that.
It doesn't
Whatever
even have to
you
have lyrics.
like. It doesn't. It could just be like
musical.
Yeah, just musical. Like, I know my favorite song to listen to when I'm really feeling down and I feel like nobody loves me is that song from The Greatest Showman, This Is Me.
Oh, wow.
That is my absolute favorite song for when I'm feeling down. Because it gets me up, it gets me singing along. Honestly, sometimes dancing, even though I can't dance.
Yeah.
It gets me out of my head, and I'll start putting songs like that on. So, like, songs like Who Says, or Brave, or Fight Song, or those kind of songs that just say...
Skyscraper.
Yes,
I love that song.
And Really Don't Care, and Sorry Not Sorry.
Yep.
All those songs,
empowering songs.
They're empowering, that's right.
Songs. Instead of, like, we were talking about, you know, Halsey has that song, Bad at Love, and I hate that song. Like, when it comes on the radio, I'm like, no, we're going to change it. It doesn't matter who's in the vehicle with me. That's implanting that negativity. Yeah. Like, I refuse to be bad at love. I refuse to sit here and say to myself that I'm not good at the greatest gift there is. Like, I'm not going to put that on myself.
Especially with the way the brain interprets it. Yeah. It doesn't recognize that it's not your thought.
Right. It doesn't understand sarcasm at all. It doesn't understand...
I mean, some people are very good at sarcasm.
But even as far... You know, my dad started something... We didn't do this growing up. Growing up, I was always, you know, I'm sorry. My dad just recently instilled it, and it's still something that I have to, you know, remind myself and put myself into motion to make it habitual. But because your brain doesn't understand sarcasm and your subconscious doesn't understand, like, references as to what you're speaking about, when you're saying I'm sorry, you're telling yourself you're sorry. Like, you're a sorry person, or like you're just a sorry individual. Instead, you replace it with I apologize. Like, I apologize. That not only sounds better, but your brain understands that you're apologizing as opposed to, you know, punching yourself in the face.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, because I would do the same thing. All through growing up, I would just say, oh, I'm sorry. And then a couple years ago, my grandma was like, stop saying sorry.
Right.
Stop.
Right.
What? You have nothing to be sorry for. So you didn't put your purse in your room. Don't say, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Just like, okay, let me do it now.
You're trying to make an excuse for your existence sometimes because you just feel like, you know, it's that self-worth. Yeah. And once you realize your self-worth, there's so many different things that you're going to want to rotate. There's so many different things that you're going to want to reset. Like, how can I grow more? How can I implant more positivity? What are some of the things other than, we discussed church, we discussed eating better, we discussed listening to different music. Is there any other things that you would recommend doing to just enhance and continue that
Find
positivity?
something that you love that's positive and do it. So if you love to read, find positive books to read. It doesn't have to be a self-help book. It can be fiction. It can be something that just makes you feel good. Like, I read a lot of books that are romance because honestly, I have a lack of romance in my life. I don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
But for me right now in this stage of my life, I don't really need it.
I just love because it's a fun story,
Yeah, they're fun stories. They're positive, especially if they end in a happy ending.
Oh, yeah.
It makes you happy for the character, which will make you happy.
Yeah.
So reading stuff that you love to read
is mentally stimulating in a positive way.
Yes, and it is. And another thing, if you have a lot of ideas, like, I also have ADD. So for me, my brain will start thinking a mile a minute, whether it's positive or negative, just keeps going and going and going. Yeah. And I'll think of story ideas. That's another thing that always is plaguing my brain is song ideas, poems, and stories, short stories, novels. Just write. Just stimulate yourself. Just write. If you have all these thoughts, like...
It's a creative outlet.
Yes.
Like, you've got to establish a creative outlet.
And they're very positive outlets.
It's absolutely impossible to be depressed and grateful at the same time. Like, it's absolutely impossible.
And it's impossible. It's impossible to feel sad when you're doing something you love.
You're happy.
Because you're passionate about it.
It is impossible to experience those two emotions. And that's why, it's funny when people say laughter through tears, It's when you have that sad emotion and then immediately after it, something happens and it brings you back down and you're like, ha ha ha. But you don't experience those two emotions at the exact same time.
Right beside each other.
They're, simultaneously. But if you're happy, you cannot be sad. It's impossible to experience both at the same time. Yeah. So when you feel that emotion coming about, it's so incredible to have that redirection of a creative outlet.
Yeah, and it could be reading, it could be writing, singing, cooking, baking.
Yeah. Something that you enjoy doing that you can
gardening.
Yep. Anything that you can go out and have control over and know that is a positive outlet
and
for you.
And being an artist, too.
Yeah. That's so important. So
it really is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have anything else maybe you want to share or anything like that?
No, not really. I just feel like just being able to control something that's positive to a positive outlet is going to help.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you have any more questions for me?
No, I'm just excited to see you at the convention.
Yeah,
she's going to be, Kelsey's going to be at the event helping, any way that she can, but she's going to be available to do makeup. She'll be assisting with hair if need be. She would love to talk to you and kind of share her story if you guys have any questions or want to get to know her better on a personal level or see what type of timeline she's looking at to be able to make the cognitive therapy portion that career, like when she'll be able to do things like that and just get to know you and say thanks for watching. So,
and if you just want to come and talk to me while you're waiting and just ask me for advice, I'd love to give you some advice. Even though I'm still early in my schooling, from my own personal experience, there's so much advice I have to give.
And just to have a resource for you and make a new friend. We discussed this is going to be an event to be able to come and meet people and make new friends and have new resources. And here you go, right here.
And having someone you can talk to just kind of helps. Someone who understands, someone who's not going to judge. It just helps get you back to somewhere.
Absolutely.
Resetting.
Yeah. And so, during the Take Off the Mask segment, like, the point is to be able to show everybody has a common point. Like, we are all struggling on this life bus. Like, every single one of us has something that we struggle with. And it's to individualize different types of struggles and then kind of discuss, all right, yeah, well, I did go through that. Like, here's how I survived that, or here's how I bettered myself, by giving personal stories like this, and be able to have that vulnerability and that transparency to discuss their personal stories. So, absolutely, please feel free to know that this is an open platform at all times, and we want to make sure that you guys are welcome when we see you at the event, and come talk to us, come say hi. So this is Kelsey's story. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you at the event.
Yep, I'll definitely be there. Bye.
Until then, bye, guys.